If only life was just about love. But it's about temptation. It's about failure. It's about weakness. It's about sin. And everybody here knows I've made my fair share of mistakes. But there is a very big difference between a sin and a mistake. Because a mistake is just fucking up. But a sin, a sin is when you know something is wrong and you do it anyway. I look forward to a lifetime of fucking up with you. But I hereby swear I will never sin again.
That is wonderful.
Now bring out that fucking goat!
Don't kill the goat, please.
Don't kill it, yeah.
The goat was designated to be driven into the desert with the sins of the community upon it. So, let these beads represent our sins. Unburden yourselves, friends. Then Russell will drive the scapegoat deep into the bush, far from here, so we can start over, untainted by our past misdeeds.
Do you want some beads, Nora?
Will you dance with me?
Many, many dreams, hard dreams, bad dreams to remember. Joe Blow come up to you and grab you away from me. A dream that you just turned away, walked on away with it, and that hurt me. That's why I got dreams, dreams to remember.
How did you find me, Kevin?
Dreams, yeah,
I'm on vacation in Australia.
to remember.
I saw you ride by on your bike.
Good dream, bad dream, sweet dream, yeah.
I can't do this thing
Why not?
because it's not true.
Dark dream, cold dream, all alone. I got to. It can't be denied.
I have hope for her. Whoa, shit. I will stop jinxing stuff. Jesus. Oh.
It's like your sins are following you.
Got caught. The sins are stopping her from being free. Why would they leave it on the goat? Poor goat. You rise back up and you go up that hill. Oh, this is so good. I understand it's symbolic, but holy shit, don't ever let go of a goat like this with so many crap around its neck. It's almost like she takes on all the sins so other people can be happy or free. You need to let go of them as well, honey. That frickin' the reminder.
how I found you, Nora? You want the truth? When Matt told me you were gone, I didn't believe him. Or I couldn't. I had this feeling that you were still alive. And then Matt died, and you weren't even at the funeral. And that should have convinced me. But I couldn't believe that the last time I saw you or talked to you was in that fucking hotel room that night I burned this fucking book. So I decided that I was gonna look for you. I was gonna start right where I lost you. Every year, I have 2 weeks of vacation, and every year I come to fucking Australia, and I show your picture to everybody I meet. Do you know this woman? Have you ever seen her before? And when I saw you, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to say. Or where to start, and so I just thought, oh, fuck it, I'll erase it. Just erase it all. And maybe that would give us another chance. But you were right. It's not true.
I was gonna make a cup of tea. You want some?
Okay.
I needed to be with my kids.
I didn't mean to.
You meant it, and you were right, Kevin. I needed a way to get them back. I knew there was a chance it would kill me, but I made my peace with that.
And then you changed your mind.
No. I didn't change my mind. I went through. I was in the parking lot. It was the same parking lot I'd just been in, except there were no trucks. No people, no nothing. And then night came, and I saw lights, so I went to them. It was a house, and there was a man and a woman there. The man told me that 7 years earlier he was in a supermarket, and every single person disappeared except for him.
Parallel universe.
They were the leftovers on their side.
That's what I understood. We lost some of them.
They lost everyone.
But over there, they lost all of us.
Fucking hell.
So I went and did what I came there to do.
And it's perfect for Nora.
I went to find my kids.
She's not the only one suffering.
When I got there, I stood behind a tree across the street and I waited because I was too scared to go up and knock. The door opened. At first, I didn't recognize them. A tall, teenage boy with curly hair.
Gosh.
And a girl, maybe 11. They were my children. And then my husband came out, and he was with a woman. She was pretty, and they were all smiling.
They moved on.
They were
Happy.
happy.
And she didn't destroy that.
And here in this place, they were the lucky ones. In a world full of orphans, they still had each other.
Yeah.
I was a ghost who had no place there. And that, Kevin, is when I changed my mind. The physicists who sent me through told me the first person to use the machine was the guy who invented it.
So she found them and she came
His name
back.
was Dr. Von Hagen. And I knew that if I told you what happened, that you would never believe me.
Her daddy came back like 4 times. Of course he would have believed you.
I believe you. Why wouldn't I believe you? you're here.
I'm here.
Someone, he's out there. That person's out there. Yeah, we found her.
They're coming back.
Coming back home. Coming back where you belong.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. I'm stopping it here because I'm gonna cry if I don't.
That was a good finale.
Oh, that was a beautiful
I'm
finale.
crying. Well, you kind of lie, guys. We don't now know what happened to the deported.
Oh, they never said we would never learn. But it's actually very interesting. Just I mean, that was the perfect thing for Nora. Like, she was always about, sorry about the tears, by the way. She was always about putting all the misery on her. She was the one suffering. She was the one who went through all of that. She was the unlucky one who lost everyone. And you know, when we said several times that Nora had a real problem with understanding that other people were also going through difficulties and problems, and she would just brush them to the side and focus on her. And you know, when Tommy was saying, yeah, I did not bring the baby for you, like, it's not always about you. So for her to go cross over, realize that they had it a lot worse than they ever did.
If you think about it, and on our side, 2% of the population departed suddenly. So that means on their side, 98% departed. So
they were the unlucky ones. But then her family, in the middle of all of that, they were the ones who almost all disappeared. They only lost her. So they were lucky. She was the unlucky one in her world, but they were lucky in theirs. And who was she? She, for the first time in this show, she actually put someone else's well-being above her own. And she let them be, because to show up suddenly, that would reawaken everything. And that would bring them back to that moment, that misery that she could never free herself from. And it was so well done how they did it, like making us believe that she never went through, and then just to bring that back and be like, oh shit, she did. And we finally learn what happened. We don't know. I mean, we're never going to know
how it happened, but you know where
they are, if they're dead.
Like suddenly there was some sort of magnetic field that people got caught in, and they were put in a parallel universe. It's like just the two sides of a mirror.
Yeah, and I mean, all the innuendos, all the little hidden messages in this episode. By the way, this was one really great finale. I have to admit that this was so well done. Everything from just Kevin talking about the possibility of him dying, and it affects Nora, because that's one thing that in this show that the people have never really done, which is focus on the future. Focus on a happy future together, and the possibility of losing that makes you really appreciate the moment. You know, Kevin saying, if I don't ask you out on a dance, I knew I would regret it for the rest of my life. And that's one thing, you know, when the people went missing, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when you're going to lose the people you love. It can happen today, it can happen tomorrow, it can happen in 10 years. But you should never, wait to tell these things to the people you love. I mean, you should be honest, and you should be open about these things, because you don't know what's going to happen. And if you don't say it, just like Meg, like she went through the same thing. Her mom wanted to tell something to her, and she didn't hear it, and she regretted it for the rest of her life. And you tend to focus on these things so much that it destroys you. You get obsessed, and then the idea of a future gets blurred because it doesn't exist. You're too focused on the past.
You know what I like the most about this episode?
No.
Is that it tells us that no matter the times, no matter what you went through, there's always a possibility to start over.
Oh, yeah.
To just, maybe not, you cannot erase the past, that's a fact, just like Kevin and Nora showed us. But it doesn't mean that you cannot just start as new and just...
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it is, but I mean, if you're alive, if the people you love are alive, it's never too late to make amends, to say sorry, to say I love you, to just take the time to live. YOLO. You only live once. Unless you're Kevin.
Maybe not YOLO, but even if the people you love are still there, or if for Nora you lost everyone that you used to love, you can always start over.
Yeah, like she did with the goat.
Love meet new people, love new people. It's gonna be harsh, it's gonna be difficult, and it's gonna take times. It takes freaking decades and years for them to start over, but they did it.
And I mean,
you just need to don't stop and push until you manage to do it.
You know the scene with the goat when she reaches it, that was exactly what was going on. Like, it was difficult going up that hill, and she fell down, and it was hard, it hurt. She ended up at the beginning of the slope. Like, she ended up right where she started. She still she rised, and she kept going up. And that's what you have to do in life. You have to rise and keep going, even though it's hard, and even though sometimes you find yourself right back at the beginning. And I think the moral of this show is incredible. The subtlety of the messages is phenomenal, but it's there, you know?
I love to see that. Just if we think about the goat also, sometimes you're gonna get stuck in life and you're gonna stuck with your sins, and you cannot just move on and keep going, but sometimes you just need to
rely on
someone else to help you to get free
and take some of your burden a little bit.
That's right.
Open up, call for help, basically, because that's what the goat did, call for help. That was a beautiful
You need to
finale.
accept that there's no shame in being vulnerable and rely on someone to move on and to be happy.
Yeah. I'm really happy she got her happy ending, and she got to make amends with Kevin, and she got to tell him everything. I'm really sad about Matt. Like, I teared up a few times in the episode, and
This makes... she didn't know that Matt died.
She probably heard.
Yeah, Laurie must have told her, but she couldn't be there because she was on the other side. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it took for her to come back, but he was probably dead by the time she did. So there's that. They did say goodbye in person, so it's not like they didn't get their...
I'm also... I said it earlier, but I'm so happy that Laurie is still there.
Yes!
Because I was sure that she was just happy with herself and just in peace when she left.
Beginning. That was a new beginning for her. She started over.
I'm just happy.
To see her, that was like, at first, like, I didn't know, I didn't recognize her voice. I thought it might have been Mary, so I was like, is Matt still okay, or are we gonna learn that he survived longer than we thought? But then Kevin kind of destroyed that illusion. But to see Laurie just show up like that, holding a baby, I'm like, oh my god.
Jill is a mama.
Yeah, both kids are okay, and that's phenomenal. And Kevin also got his happy ending. Like, he found a new purpose, and I'm happy about that. He found a new reason to keep looking.
That makes me think about something else too.
What?
Like, we talk about Nora, but we didn't talk about Kevin, that if you want to be happy, you need to work for it. Happiness just won't
happen.
Fall on yourself. You need to work for it.
It's a huge
You decide
difference.
what to do with your future and what to do with your life, and you are the only person who decide if you can be happy or not.
And that's a huge difference. The character development was great in this show. That was a huge difference from the Kevin in season 1.
True.
To show him so old, that was so weird. But I got used to it. But that was still weird. Anyway, so I mean, there is a lot to talk about, but I feel like we always have huge discussions when it comes to Leftovers, and I want to enjoy this finale. I want to enjoy the happiness we got in the end, the answer we finally got, well, sort of.
Well, I'm happy enough to know where they went. I'm just happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy to know,
need to know the how or the why, but at least where they were.
I think there is no necessary question was left unanswered. So I think, you know what? Recently I was looking at thumbnails for the last few episodes, and I found an article, and I mean, I didn't read it obviously, but it said something like, did The Leftovers have the perfect finale? Something like that. Like, it talked about the finale of The Leftovers, and I'm thinking about it, and I think that for this show, they really did a good job.
For this type of show, yeah.
I mean, for any type of show. Usually a show...
Well, depending on the stories and the context of what you're giving to your viewers, this type of show...
That's the thing.
Good ending.
Did the characters get their closure? Yeah. Did we get the message that they wanted to give us? Yeah. Did we get the answers that we were looking for? Yeah, kinda. There is nothing I'm still wondering. Yeah, and I mean nothing that I need to understand or know in order for me to appreciate the story. Just like they don't need anything else. They can look up further. They can look in front of them now and stop looking back.
We can move on finally.
Everyone moved on. Everyone got their closure, and I'm really happy about that. That was a beautiful show, guys. That was really well done. Spectacularly acted. Like, the actors were all amazing. I have nothing to say about them. They were so good. Every intense scene was perfectly done. The music was beautiful. The choice, sometimes when he used songs from other groups, like the Take On Me scene in season 3. Holy shit, that was good. The visuals, beautiful. Story, script, wow. I'm really... this is not... I can acknowledge that this is not just the type of show that everyone can enjoy. It brings you in a place that not many people are comfortable to be in. It makes you think about stuff that, I mean, we all understand, but we don't really like to think about this. We don't really like to focus on it. And since the mystery is intense, not everyone enjoys to be left in the dark. Although I can say that this show wanted us to be in the dark. They wanted us to feel lost, just like the characters. And that's brilliant. So from a cinema student viewpoint, I can say that this show did a tremendous job. Like, that was really well done. I'm really sad that not many more other people can look at this show. I'm surprised that we don't hear about it in school. That was total surprise for me when you guys suggested this show. I never even heard of The Leftovers, and after I started watching Leftovers, I started seeing it on TV actually. After, so not before.
Well, I remember seeing a scene on TV in season 1 with the GR.
Yeah.
Where the first October 14th, the first scene was like, oh, I remember that scene. Yeah, that's the only thing that I remember of seeing before watching the show.
That was a beautiful treasure that I was really happy to discover with you all. And although I'm sad it's ending, I'm actually happy we got to the end of the story. We can move on now. We can look in the future.
Yeah, all right.
So that was it for The Leftovers. Thank you guys so much for watching this show with us. I hope you enjoyed our reactions. We are going to start a new show really soon. We actually wanted to do a poll on Patreon for that, but there's a few shows that we wanted to watch for a while, so we're going to do that first. So give us a week. Give us a little time to cool off, and then after that we'll be back with
Chernobyl and the 3 episodes of Black Mirrors.
Yeah, that's going to be after, though. After Chernobyl. We're going to start with Chernobyl.
Yeah,
so
it's been a while since we were supposed to do that.
We're going to do that, so see you in another reaction.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this series with us. And see you in another show, guys.
Bye.